Sagittarius. Money returns. A sudden goodbye. True love proposes soon. Dear Sagittarius, there are seasons in your life that pass like quiet storms, leaving behind not destruction, but sacred echoes. You've lived them, haven't you? Moments when you gave without expecting anything in return. When you shared your time, your heart, your energy, freely, wholly, as if your soul was made to pour itself out for others. You trusted when there was no guarantee, and you stayed loyal long after the bond began to break. You walked away with grace from battles no one knew you fought, because dignity was more important than being right. But healing doesn't always come in the form of retreat. Sometimes it arrives as a return. This message is for the part of you that once let go quietly, hoping that if it was meant to be, it would find its way back. And now it is. The tides of energy are shifting. The universe hasn't forgotten your silent sacrifices. Something long lost is coming home to you, not out of chance, but as a response to the integrity you've lived by. If these words stir something deep within you, maybe it's because your soul recognizes them. This is not a new beginning. This is a remembering. Stay with me through this journey. Like, share, or subscribe if you feel called to. Not because it's expected, but because this story might mirror someone else's soul too. Let's begin, dear Sagittarius. Gate 1. Money returns. There was a time when you gave something away, perhaps a generous gift, a helping hand, or a sacred trust, without needing anyone to witness it. You didn't keep score. You didn't seek praise. You simply offered because it was who you were at your core. A seeker of truth, a bearer of light, a soul with open palms. And yet, there may have been moments when the world didn't reciprocate. When people took what you offered without even a nod of gratitude. When money seemed to slip through your hands as if the universe had forgotten your goodness. You may have quietly wondered, was it all in vain? But dear Sagittarius, the laws of energy are not human laws. They do not forget. They do not dismiss. They do not delay without meaning. And now the universe begins its slow, sure return. Not because you demanded it, but because your soul never closed. You didn't let the bitterness win. You didn't lose your fire. What's coming is not a stroke of luck. It is an energetic alignment, a sacred recalibration, a wave of prosperity, not in the form of sudden riches but in recognition. Recognition of the integrity you've embodied even when no one was watching. Money returns now not just as currency but as clarity, as healing, as affirmation. You may receive a refund from something you thought was gone. A project long abandoned may suddenly bloom. A debt may be repaid. Or perhaps someone finally sees your worth, and what once felt like a loss now looks like investment. But know this. This is not compensation for suffering. This is the echo of your authenticity returning home. Think back. How many times have you given even when you had little? How many times have you turned down competition not out of fear, but because your soul refused to dim its light just to play a game you never believed in? You've been generous to a fault, often choosing peace over recognition. You've poured into others, hoping your light might awaken something in them. And though the world may have stayed silent, the universe listened. You weren't naive. You were noble. Sagittarius, you are ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, fortune, and divine law. What you gave out into the world was not lost. It was planted, and now the harvest is beginning. But here's the sacred truth. Prosperity is not a gift. It's a mirror. It reflects who you are, not who you pretended to be. So don't be afraid to receive. Don't see it as vanity to accept abundance. Your soul is not greedy, it is ready. Ready to live more deeply, love more generously, and create more courageously. Let it return. Let the energy you once gave away circle back to you. Not because you begged, but because you never stopped believing. Say it softly within yourself. I receive without guilt. I allow good things to reach me. I take what is mine with an open heart. Dear Sagittarius, the path of return begins not with calculation, but with permission. And today the universe gives you that permission. Gate to a sudden goodbye. There are moments in life that don't come with a warning. A conversation that never happens. A departure without explanation. One day, someone who meant the world to you just leaves. And it feels like the world pauses for a beat, but no one else notices. You, brave Sagittarius, have walked through such a moment. Perhaps more than once. You gave your time. You stood by someone when they were at their worst. You forgave things that no one even knew had wounded you, and still they left. Or drifted. Or simply faded. No closure. No apology. Only silence where once there was connection. But today, I invite you to see that moment not as abandonment, but as initiation. When someone leaves suddenly, it doesn't always mean something is wrong with you. It may mean that something sacred is shifting. It may mean that your soul no longer vibrates at the same frequency as theirs. It may mean that what once felt like a shared journey has now split into different paths. Painful? Yes. But wrong? Not always. As a Sagittarius, your spirit craves freedom. But you also love deeply with conviction and loyalty. And when you love the whole map, not just the destination. You walk beside others through storms and sunshine alike. So when someone walks away without a goodbye, it can feel like betrayal. But it is often an act of grace in disguise. Sometimes the goodbye you never wanted is the beginning your soul has long awaited. Not every relationship is meant to last a lifetime. Some are soul lessons, not soulmates. Some come to reflect a version of yourself you were ready to outgrow. Others arrive only to trigger the wound that you were finally strong enough to heal. You did not fail because they left. You succeeded in being real. Remember those nights you stayed up wondering what you did wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You just loved someone who couldn't meet you where your soul was headed. You held space for a connection that couldn't hold itself. And that, dear Sagittarius, is not weakness. That is depth. And now you are being asked to release, not out of bitterness but from wisdom. The kind of wisdom that understands. When someone exits without closure, it is the universe's way of providing it for you. You don't need their words to heal. You need your truth. And your truth is this. You are not too much. You are just too whole for someone who only wanted fragments. Say this with me if your heart is trembling. I do not chase the ones who left. I honor the space they freed. I allow the absence to become presence. I let the silence speak peace. You may never receive the apology. You may never understand their reasons. But understanding is not a requirement for healing. Only willingness is. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means you no longer hold the pain like it defines you. It means your story is bigger than the page they exited on. Dear Sagittarius, you've always been a traveler of inner and outer worlds. And this goodbye, no matter how sudden, was never your ending. It was a soul checkpoint, a moment of shedding. Let go, not because you're weak, but because you're ready for what's next. Let go with grace, not anger. Let go not to erase the memory, but to free the energy it holds captive. This isn't about moving on. It's about moving inward. You don't need them to come back. You just need to come home to yourself. Gate 3 True Love proposes soon. You've wandered far, both in the world and within yourself. You've searched for truth in the eyes of lovers, in late-night conversations, in silent prayers whispered to the stars. And for a long time, love may have felt like something distant, fleeting, beautiful but unreachable. You've given so much of yourself. Pieces of your laughter, hours of your patience, the vulnerable places of your heart that you rarely show anyone. And sometimes all you received in return was absence, or confusion, or someone who only saw a reflection of their own needs in your light. But hear this now, Sagittarius. The love that is coming is different. It won't come in chaos. It won't ask you to shrink. It won't leave you questioning your worth. It will not be a test you must pass, a role you must play, or a wound you must conceal. True love is approaching. Not from your past, not from old patterns, but from a parallel soul. One whose name may have been written next to yours long before either of you arrived here. A soul who doesn't fall for your strength, but stays for your softness. A presence that doesn't need to be explained, only felt. Imagine this. A quiet evening. You're alone with your thoughts wrapped in stillness. The sky is turning to gold and you feel peace. And then, without effort, someone enters, not to complete you but to recognize you. To see the wild, wandering fire within you, and choose to walk beside it. They won't rush your heart. They won't fear your passion. They'll hold your anger gently, not because they enjoy storms, but because they understand they often come from unhealed tenderness. They'll stay, not because they need you, but because they see something sacred in your presence that feels like home. This love will feel like breathing again. And Sagittarius, you deserve this. You've done the inner work. You've cried in silence while the world thought you were strong. You've stood alone rather than settle for less. You've healed without applause. And now your energy calls in someone who doesn't want your performance, but your presence. Let this love find you, not because you're searching, but because you're finally rooted in your truth. Say softly to yourself, I no longer chase love. I return to myself. And love finds me. Because when you stop bending to fit into hearts that are too small, the right heart arrives, already shaped to hold you. You are not too much. You are the one the universe saved for the soul who could understand the language you speak without words. So open your heart, not with fear but with faith. This love will not rescue you. It will walk with you. It will not silence you. It will listen. It will not demand anything. It will ask simply, can you be yourself with me? Dear Sagittarius, love is not a reward for being good. It is a reunion between souls who have outgrown the need to prove their worth. And now you are ready not to be chosen but to choose. Not to be needed but to be seen. Not to lose yourself in love, but to find the part of you that has always known. I am enough. As I am. This love will not arrive with a fanfare. It will arrive with stillness, with resonance, with truth. Let it in. Conclusion: the journey of return. You have walked through 3 sacred thresholds: the return of abundance, the release of what no longer serves you, and the arrival of true soul-aligned love. This is not just a series of events. This is a pilgrimage of the spirit. And now, standing at the end of this path, something deep within you has shifted. This isn't a destination. It's a return. A return to your own essence, which was never truly lost, only hidden beneath layers of doubt, delay, and detours. Through the gate of prosperity, you remember that giving does not mean losing, that your integrity was never unnoticed by the universe, that abundance is not an accident. It is a response to your soul's unwavering truth. Through the gate of goodbye, you learned that not every departure is a tragedy, that silence can be sacred, that sometimes what leaves is not breaking your heart, it is freeing it. And through the gate of love, you saw that true connection doesn't ask for performance. It asks for presence, that you no longer need to be needed to feel whole. That love will not arrive as rescue, but as recognition. Sagittarius, you are not standing at the end of something. You are standing in your light. Let these lessons live within you, not as memories but as truth. And if your heart feels tender now, let it be. You are not broken, you are finally open. Take a deep breath. Hand to heart. Whisper it with all the knowing you now carry. I have returned to myself. I no longer wait, I live. I no longer strive, I trust. I no longer question, I remember. This is your moment. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally enough for yourself. And if these words moved you, Sagittarius, share them. Not for attention, but as a blessing. Like, subscribe. Forward it to someone who may need this reminder. Because healing isn't just for you. It flows through you. You are not alone. And you are not waiting anymore. You are home.